In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Tariq Masood. Thank you very much for watching my videos and your exceptional support to make this channel a grand success. We are a partner. Please subscribe our channel if you haven't done so far. We as a team can convert challenges into opportunities and opportunities into a success story. These success stories can be monetized into value addition. Thank you very much again. Okay, today I'm going to discuss my lecture number 5th, and this is my last lecture on organization behavior, and particularly I'm going to discuss a topic, a team effectiveness as far as the inclusion is concerned, control and affections. And later on I will conclude on leadership style and what type of leadership style you must adopt in order to address different issues. Okay, before my lecture I used to read a Quranic verse, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli rabbi zidni ilma. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to run a complete trail on my today lecture. Okay, organization behavior. Now today in my lecture we are going to discuss lecture number 5th. So the key element we are going to discuss a team effectiveness as far as the control, affection and inclusion are concerned in lecture number 5th. What is the organization basically? Be clear, be clean, be focused, be effective, be efficient, be satisfied and be organized. Okay, in my lecture number 1 we have discussed interpersonal needs, what is inclusion and its impact, control and affection. And lecture number 2 we have discussed what interpersonal need and how inclusion, control, affection are impacting our personality, and what are the fundamental or ground rules in order to improve our personality organization behavior. Okay, then we have also demonstrated overall interpersonal needs in lecture number 2. Lecture number 3 we have demonstrated total expressed and wanted behavior, how much it's supposed to be, how much needed, and total interpersonal needs, and how to fulfill inclusion, how to fulfill control and affections. Number 4 we have recap lecture number 1, 2, 3, and then we demonstrate how to develop our career as far as inclusion, control, affections are concerned, and what are their ranges where we should stand in order to improve ourselves as far as the organization behavior is concerned. Okay, as we have discussed earlier in my last slide, that the organization behavior mean be clear, be clean, be focused, be effective, be efficient, be satisfied with your job and be organized. First, this lecture can help you to understand your behavior and other behaviors in your organization. Second part, we have used special tools to simulate different senses which can help us to maximize impact of our action and to identify the options for increasing our job satisfaction and productivity and explore alternate ways to achieve our goals. Number 3, it will also demonstrate how we will provide explanation of our behavior simulation results and consider how our result can help you out from the results. Or the first here, plan your career development, number 1. Number 2 here, so increase your job satisfaction. Number 3, improve your effectiveness on a team as far as the behavior improvement is concerned. And number 4 here, identify the strength and weakness of your leadership styles. So these are 4 key elements which we are going to understand and learn about in order to have a satisfied job and our behavior implications. Okay, topics in queue. So after this lecture, organization behavior, we have planned to give a long series of lectures on challenge for organization and the change process. So challenge for organization has 4 pillars. First, a customer victory, how to win. Second, what is bureaucracy, how they link with customer victory and challenge for organization. Number 4, regime of bureaucracy. How regime of bureaucracy communicating the other pillars of challenge for organization. Number 4, change, yes, but change what? Okay. On later stage, we will discuss the change process. In order to have a change, first of all, we need to understand why we need it. Review for the poor reasoning, the frame of reference. Number 2, the process from symptom to problems. Number 3, the process from problem to priorities. Number 4 here, process from priority to levers. And number 5 here, implementation stage, what and how to implement the moment of change. Okay. On my next lecture, I'm going to demonstrate what are the key takeaway points from these lectures, and later on we'll discuss inclusions, control of actions results, and then link how they are talking to each other in order to deliver the required results. Okay, thank you very much for your time, and we are going to recap our lecture number 2, and then we will discuss or conclude in on my last slides. Organization behavior: be clear, be clean, be organized. So this is my last lecture on organization behavior, and these are key takeaway points on organizations. First, lecture 1, 2, 3, 4, a recap. Then we will demonstrate improving your team effectiveness. What is the impact of team effectiveness and inclusions, team effective control and affections, and later on the last slide we will demonstrate which type of leadership you should adopt in order to address different organizational issues. So thank you very much for your precious time. Now I will run a complete thread on lecture number 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we will give highlights on improving your team effectiveness and as far as the inclusion control affections are concerned. So we will run a model and demonstrate how these results are linked to each other and how they are talking and communicating to each other. Thank you very much for your precious time. Okay, now interpersonal needs. What is interpersonal needs? Basically, interpersonal needs constituted in 3 segments. The first is inclusions, second is control, and third is affections. What is inclusion? Basically, the need for inclusion relates to forming a new relations and associations with others. It determines the extent of contact and prominence that a person seeks. That is first thing. Second, what is control? Basically, need for control relates to decisions making, influence, and persuasions between people. It determines the extent of power or dominance that a person seeks. Okay, number 3, affections. What affection? Basically, needs for affections relates to emotional ties and warm connections between people. It determines the extent of closeness that a person seeks. So that is how the affection demonstrate. These 3 interpersonal needs, inclusions, control, and affections, which has shown how much each needs is expressed and wanted. So that is showing expressed and wanted, how much each segments need. They are basically measure the values of wanted and expressed. In my earlier slide, we have discussed interpersonal needs. First was inclusion, second control, and third affections. So now we are going to discuss inclusions, control, and affections independently, and then we will conclude. Okay, first we are going to discuss inclusions. What is inclusion? Basically, and it has 5 independent segments. First is belonging. What is belonging? Basically, this is an affinity for a place or situation. Number 2, what is recognitions? Okay, recognition, this is an appreciation or acclaim for an achievement, service, or ability. Okay, number 3, involvement as part of inclusions. This fact or condition of being involved with or participating in something. Okay, number 4, distinctions here. So excellence that sets someone or something apart from others, or difference or contrast between similar things or people. That is how distinction demonstrate as a part of inclusion. Number 5 here is a participations. This is an action of taking part in something or activities as needed. So now we have discussed the inclusion constituted with the of 5 different segments, and 5 different segments deliver a different aspects and senses. Okay, now we are going to discuss in next is control. Okay, as we discussed earlier, interpersonal needs, we have discussed first inclusion. Now we are going to discuss a control, and on third part we will discuss affection. Okay, first, what is power as part of the control? Again, control constituted into 5 segments. So first, power, which demonstrates the ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular ways in order to demonstrate the power. So number 2, a responsibility. Okay, how to demonstrate your responsibility or to be accountable? The state or fact of having a duty to deal with something or of having a control over someone, the state or fact of being accountable or to blame for something, that is called the responsibility. That is as a part of control mechanisms. Okay, number 3, authority. Okay, what is authority? Basically the power or right to give orders, make decisions and enforce obedience. A person or organization having a political administrative power and control in order to deliver the result as been assigned. Okay, number 4, consistency. So consistency, the consistent behavior or treatment, the way in which a substance holds together, that is consistency. Demonstrate it is a part of control. Okay, number 5 here, influence. Here, what is influence? Basically the capacity to have an effect on the character, development or behaviors of the someone or something or the fact itself. That is how influencing the control. So the control constitutes 5 segments. See, control is changed or influenced by the all of 5 segments: power, responsibility, authority, consistency and influence. Okay, on my next slide we are going to discuss a number 3 affections as part of the interpersonal need control mechanism. Okay, as we have discussed in my earlier slide, interpersonal needs, first we have discussed inclusions, second we have discussed controls, third now we are going to discuss affections. Again, affections constituted into 5 segments: personal ties, sports, consensus, openness and sensitivity. Okay, what is a personal tie? Basically personal ties are social or family ties which a person devote most of his time not devoted to occupational ties. Number 1. Number 2, sports. Okay, sports bear all of part of the weight, or you hold up things that bear the weight of the something or keeps it upright. Okay, number 3, consensus. Here, what is consensus? Basically consensus, a general agreement or dispute or a matter for conclusions to reach a decision or dispute. Okay, number 4 here, openness. So openness, lack of restrictions, accessibility, which demonstrate or democratically society committed to openness and transparency, more openness. Okay, last is sensitivity. Here, what is sensitivity? The quality or condition of being sensitive, feeling liable to be offended, hurt or sensibilities. So that is how sensibility demonstrated as per the affections are concerned. So the affections constituted with 5: personal ties, a family, a personal ties, families are social ties which a person devote most of his time, not devoted to occupation. That is sport, you have to sport. Sportsmen bear all of the part of the weight or bear all of the your hold up. Okay, then the consensus, general agreement, openness, lack of restrictions and sensitivities. So that is how these 5 segments constituted to pull up affections. Okay. Okay, first I'm going to demonstrate a model. Remember This simulation results are not a comprehensive personality test. It focuses how you are oriented to interpersonal relation. Based on results in this lecture should not be used or make a judgment whether any behavior or any person is good or bad. Secondly, the assessment in this lecture is a measure of interpersonal needs, not a test of abilities. Career interest of success. Finally, we should avoid making a major decision based on the results of only one instrument that is we have used. So now we'll give you brief about how this simulation result demonstrate. If you can see on the top here, this is my score bar. Okay, on my left hand side I can demonstrate interpersonal needs are three segments or three key elements, that is inclusion, control and affection. Okay, on my right hand sides similar pattern, we have inclusions, control and affections. Okay, what is expressed? Basically the extent to which you will initiate the behavior as far as the inclusion, control and affection are concerned. And on the right hand side we can see here inclusions, control and affections as well. So then it is linked with the wanted. What is wanted basically is the extent to which you want or will accept that behavior from others. Okay, on left hand side you initiate your behavior, and on right hand side the behavior you wanted from others, how they reciprocate what you demonstrated as far as the behavior is concerned. So if you can see the inclusions, so inclusion, if inclusion got, express inclusion got 7 marks out of 9 from mid to left hand side, so 0369, so number 7 here. And similar pattern on reciprocate inclusion or got 8 marks on wanted, that what behavior you wanted from others, so it gave a 7-8 ratio. Similar pattern on control, what you expressed your behavior, and on right hand side that is showing here what you are expecting from others. On the left hand side that is what you have initiated from your side. Similarly on right hand side what affections you are expecting from others, and on left hand side what affections you are initiating as far as the behavior is concerned, 8 and 9. So that's how it is demonstrating both sides. It seems a balanced behavior, you reciprocating to each others, you initiate and then you will reciprocate similarly, or you wanted or you expecting from others. Okay, now on my next slide I'm going to discuss a first pattern expressed initiating your behavior, then what would be the wanted, and at the last slide will conclude overall behavior where you or we can stand as far as the model is concerned, and later on we will conclude the results and wind up my lecture number 1. Okay, in my earlier slide we have discussed simulation results, how express and wanted demonstrated. What is the expressed? Basically here expressed mean the extent which you will initiate the behavior. Okay, we will discuss wanted on next slide, the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. Okay, here we had mentioned here the characteristic behavior result here and what your result indicate. Okay, if you can see here on the right hand sides the express inclusions, express control and express affections, the result and we have done a simulation model. Okay, if you got the score high over here, what inclusion demonstrate at high score, and high score means 7, what basically inclusion demonstrate here, the efforts to include others in my activities, belonging, to join a social group, and to be with others as much as possible. Okay, you got the 7 scores. What it means that you will be usually agree with the statement and probably enjoy having a steady amount of interpersonal contact at work. Okay, number 2, control expressed. It has a low scores. And what low score demonstrated? First, the control. What we have basically try to exert control and influence, overthink, enjoy organizing things and directing others. Okay, if you got the 2 scores, suggests that you will usually disagree with this statement and avoid providing too much structure and direction for others. Okay, now number 3, affections here, and it got a high score and score 8. What does mean it? So when you got high score in the affections, so EA affections demonstrate here an effort to get close to the people, comfortable expressing a personal feeling, try to be supportive of the others. So you got the 8 score highs. You have modality suggests that you will usually agree with the other statement and that you provide a lot of warmth, encouragement and support for the others at work. So that is how your affection modality demonstrate. Now in my next slide, we will discuss the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others, that is wanted. Okay, and later on we will conclude our presentation. Okay, now here wanted basically the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. What is wanted basically, and then your characteristics, result here, and what you want result indicates. Okay, first is inclusions. So over here, so that is wanted inclusion here, wanted control here, and wanted affections here. What is wanted inclusions? WL. What include demonstrate to include in activity and invite to belong and enjoy when others notice to me. That is how inclusion wanted expressed. If you have the high score here and your score is 8. So when you have the 8 scores, with having others seek out the input and offer you a change for a higher profile. So that is the first. Your result 8 suggests that you will usually agree with this statement and enjoy having others seek out your input and offer you a chance for a higher profile. Okay, number 2 here, control wanted. It is low here, like mentioned 1 here. So in WC here, wanted control. So it feel most comfortable working in well-defined situations. Try to get clear expression and instructions. When you have a low here, what you demonstrate your score here, so that you will usually disagree with the statement and often seek a high degree of autonomy to do works. So that is how it reflects here. So on number here, the wanted affections, what affection demonstrate here? So others to act warmly toward me, enjoy it will people share their feelings, and when they encourage my efforts. That is what you wanted. So it show over here the high demand and you got the score a 9. So that if you got the 9 score, that you will usually agree with this statement and will be happiest when others around you are warm, supportive and openly encouraging. That is how it demonstrating the result, if the extent to which you want or will accept behavior from others. Okay, in my earlier 2 slides, we have discussed 2 segments independently. One is expressed inclusion, expressed control, expressed affections. So the extent to which you will initiate the behavior, and total you got the behavior marks is 70. In second tier, we have discussed wanted inclusions, wanted control here, or wanted affections. This wanted behavior, it's 18. So mean the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. So the overall performance, the overall interpersonal needs is 35, as we have discussed each model. So what it deliver basically, so the first is involvement with others. So what involvement other demonstrated is usually a source of satisfaction, but relationship may become frustrating and interfere with your job. Number 2, interacting with others here. When interacting with others, you work best with the small groups and with regular contacts. Number 3, enjoy the work here. You probably enjoy work that involves opportunity to gather input from others, but you don't rely on them for decisions making or implementation. And number 4 here, prefer to work with others, but occasionally need a time alone to think and reflect. Number 5 here, consider yourself extroverted. So you probably consider yourself more extroverted than introverted. So that is how you demonstrate your overall interpersonal needs based on the simulation models. So if the result are definitely changing man to man, so when the result change, then definitely these score will automatically reflect each person have different interpersonal needs. Thank you very much for your precious time, and very soon we are going to discuss on lecture number 3 further how the overall interpersonal system can be demonstrated and developed internally and externally. Thank you very much, your precious time. Okay, in my earlier slide we have discussed overall interpersonal needs as far as expressed inclusions, wanted inclusion, expressed control, wanted control, expressed affections, wanted affections are concerns. Okay, on this slide we are going to discuss a total expressed and total wanted behavior needed for anybody or based on your simulation results. Okay, first you can see the total expressed behaviors. What is the total expressed behavior? The extent to which you will initiate the behavior. Okay, second part is over here, the total wanted behavior, the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. Okay, now I will put the highlight here. If you can see here my expressed behavior, that is EL, EC and EA, inclusions, control and affections. In second pattern here, wanted, inclusion, control and affections. First I will explain inclusion, control, affections as far as the expressed concerns. It indicates how often you take the initiatives in approaching others to fulfill their basic interpersonal needs. In general, it shows how comfortable you are being proactive. Okay, first based on the result as demonstrated over here. Okay, so the total result indicates 17 marks. So it means this is in a medium range, which suggests that you vary in the extent to which you initiate actions or work proactively with others. It seems to depend on exactly who the others person or persons are and context in which you work. Okay, on second pattern, if you can see here, the total wanted behavior, WL, WC or WA mean wanted inclusions, wanted control and wanted affections. Okay, the overall it demonstrates over here the score is 18. So what basically indicates, so how much you rely on others to get what you need. In general, it shows how comfortable you are being reactive or responsive. Okay, now you got the 18 marks here. It indicates you are in the medium range, which suggests that you vary in the extent to which you are comfortable being reactive in and reliant on others. It seems to be depend on exactly who others person or persons are and context in which you work. Okay, that is how your on wanted behavior response, any extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. Okay, the total expressed and total wanted behaviors are best interpreted in this relation as we have modeled here. Okay, since they explain the general pattern, how you go about satisfying the interpersonal needs. Okay, so the wanted score is higher than the total expressed behaviors. So your expressed behavior is 17 and your wanted behavior is 18. This suggests that you prefer to wait and see what others will do before taking action. It means the extent to which you want or will accept behavior from others. Mean you wait to see how the people other are behaving. In some situations, you may feel inhibited from doing or expressing what you want. You value reliability in others because it helps you predict how they will behave and therefore how you should act. You may often find yourself wondering why others are not expressing more inclusion, control, and affections toward you. Others may be surprised to know how much you welcome their behaviors. You express behavior may not provide much of the clue about what you want from others peoples. So that is how the total express as interpersonal situations and how they want it and are communicating to each others. Now on my next slide, we are going to further narrate of expressed and wanted behavior. Okay, now over here are total needs we have seen here. So if we can see here the all three pattern: inclusion, control, and affections. So the first express the extent to which you will initiate the behavior, the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. Okay, as it demonstrated here, the overall, the total need for express inclusions and wanted, and total needs for express control and wanted here. So the expressed factions and wanted over here got the 70, 15, 3 and 17 marks, or it's on the medium range. So the total need result reflect the overall strength of each need. So it demonstrates the strength on first expressed inclusion, wanted inclusions, express control, wanted control, express affections, and wanted affection. It demonstrates strength of each need, how much you seek to satisfy each of these needs in interpersonal situation. Okay, the need with the highest score is the one you feel most comfortable pursuing. You will probably return again and again to situations that offer opportunities for you to satisfy this need. This need is also the one you are least willing so sacrifice. Your results show that your greatest total need is for affection, that is got the 70 marks over here. Okay, now if any situation is new, you're likely to focus on finding a people you can trust and establishing a relationship with them, exchanging genuine reactions and opinions with others, establish a meaningful role for yourself in the organization, building loyalty. Once you have met some of your needs for affections, you may then concentrate on satisfying or expressing your needs for the inclusion and control as well, which have the less score. The need with the lowest score is the one you are most willing to give up, that is express control and wanted control, that is total needs for the 3. Okay, over time you may drift away from situations that provide opportunities for you to fulfill these needs. Because control is your lowest priority, you won't be much concerned about orders and structures until your needs for inclusion and affections are satisfied. That is how you have demonstrated here your lowest score and total for the affections and where you stand over here. So on the next slide, we are further drilled on and discuss each senses in a different modes. Okay, now we are going to conclude our presentation. First we will discuss inclusion, impact of inclusion, then we will discuss control, and then last on affections. Okay, first others to be included here. What it demonstrates here, you include others and like to be included. Number 2, opportunity. Okay, you enjoy the opportunity to provide input. Number 3 here, to get caught off from information. You don't like to get caught off from information and updates. Number 3. Number 4 here, seek recognitions. Okay, you seek recognition and endorsement from colleagues and superiors. And number 5 here, much distinctions. You don't make a much distinction between work and social gatherings. Okay, so next is organize social activities. You organize a social activity with your business associates And last year, sense of possibilities. You withdraw first if you sense a possibility of being rejected by others. Now, on my next slide, we are going to discuss need fulfillment of in control. And then last, we will discuss affections. Okay, need fulfillment of the control. Now we got the score here. First, express control here, 2. Wanted control 1 and overall 3. Okay, what it demonstrates here? First, make important decisions. Okay, you would prefer not to make important decisions. Number 1. Number 2, here, closely supervised. You don't want to be closely supervised. Number 3 here, control your senses. You may be stubborn and rebellious if you feel that others are trying to control you. Self-sufficient. Okay, you think of yourself as self-sufficient. Hesitant to ask. Okay, you may be hesitant to ask for help or acknowledge difficulties. Next, move to your own speeds. You want to move at your own speed and or on your preference. And the last year, work on project. You prefer to work on project that are not politicized. On my next slide and final slide, we are going to discuss in the final fulfillment of affection. Okay, now we are going to conclude our last slides on express affections, wanted affections, and total needs. It's first 8 wanted, and 7. So when got this score, what we can demonstrate: first, optimistic and open. You're friendly, open, and optimistic. Number 1. Number 2, trustworthy here. So your value trustworthiness. Number 3 here, controlling interruption. You may have a difficulty turning others away or controlling interruption at work. Okay, best motivated here. So the second is that you prefer to motivate others by praise and support and are best motivated in the same way. Okay, conflict and negotiating. You may enjoy resolving conflict and negotiating and address the issues. And the last, involving a regular contact. You may feel sad when group projects involving regular contacts with colleagues ends. Thank you very much for your precious time, and be ready. I'm going to further give more about on the organization behavior on my lecture number 4. Thank you very much again. Okay, in my earlier slide, we have discussed pattern need fulfillment of inclusion, pattern need fulfillment of control, and pattern need fulfillment of affections. Basically, knowing your interpersonal needs can help you evaluate career opportunities, whether you are considering a new career or seeking to improve your satisfaction with your current position. You can evaluate any opportunity by considering how well it matches your interpersonal needs. If you can see here, the first is a express inclusion and wanted inclusion. They will add it up, become a 15. 15 marks mean total you need inclusion is 15. So it's mean you falls into a high range. If you are in the high range, you will be more satisfied with your job. Okay, this is as an outcome of if you gain a 15 marks. Okay, now if you are satisfied with your job, what is the first opportunities? You will demonstrate you have a lot of opportunities to interact with others. Number 2, multiple pathways. There are multiple pathways for achieving recognition and status. Then decisions making here. So the organization try to involve its employees in decisions making. Number 4 here, a teamwork. The organization rewards a teamwork. So that's how it's happening as far as your career development is concerned on express inclusion and wanted inclusions are concerned. Okay, in my earlier slide, as we have discussed total need for inclusion as far as expressed and wanted are concerned, now we are going to discuss the next is the control expressed and control wanted are concerned here. So now the first is express control gain 2 marks, wanted control 1 marks, and total is a 3 as we simulated in our lecture number 1. Okay, so the total need for the control here is demonstrated 3. If it's 3, it's mean you fall in low range. When you fall in low range, what you are here, you will be more satisfied with your job. First, autonomy. Second, special situations. Make quick decisions based on task. Okay, first, you have plenty of autonomy and flexibility, number 1 here. And number 2, rules and procedure are flexible and accommodating to special situation. And number 3 here, there is a little pressure to make quick decisions or to show immediate improvements. Okay, number 4 is jumping in and trying your best on a task is more important than spending a time setting goals, deadlines, or standards. So that is how it demonstrates the express control, wanted control, impact on your career development. Okay, on my next slide, we are going to discuss total need for affections and expressed affection and wanted affection. In my earlier lecture, we have discussed expressed inclusion, wanted inclusion, and then we have discussed expressed control and wanted control. Now, in my last slide, we are going to discuss expressed affections and wanted affection. Now, if you can see here, the expressed affection got 8 marks, wanted affection got 9 marks, total 17 marks. Okay, these 17 marks we have gained when we have developed a model in lecture number 1 and lecture number 2. Simulate and develop model, you can visit and see how it's happened. So then the total need for affection is 17 marks. When you got the 17 marks, it means fall in the high range of your personality. When fall in the high range, you will be more satisfied with your job. When you're more satisfied, then you will deliver the following. First, your delivery organizational climate. Then encouragement and cooperation. Then make the workplace a home. And last year, support the personal lives of the employees. So now further what we can discuss, the organizational climate is characterized by warmth and the personal interest in the employee. Number 2, encouragement and cooperation are welcomed by and freely exchanged between employees. Number 3, organization tries to make the workplace a home away from home. That is number 3. Number 4 here, what mentioned there, the organization attempt to be flexible and to support the personal lives of the employees. Okay, thank you very much for your precious time as we have discussed today 3 topics: express inclusion, wanted inclusions, express control, wanted control, express affection, wanted affection. On my lecture number 5, we are going to discuss how we can improve our team and what would be the leadership style in order to lead the team. Thank you very much for your precious time. Okay, now we are going to discuss improving your team effectiveness. So what is basically improving your team effectiveness here? The improving your team effectiveness here, so it implicate expressed inclusions. So what expressed inclusion basically? So expressed inclusions again are 7 marks, what you needed here, and it's fall into high range. When it's fall in high range, then you need to ask yourself what you can gain. First, comfortable with others, enough to proceed, and should I recognize. The first here, the comfortable with others mean, do I give others a chance to contribute at a level they are comfortable with, or do I pressure them for contributions? Number 1. Number 2 here, enough to proceed. Do I really need more input from others, or do I need enough to proceed? So in third instance, should I recognize here? Should I recognize my colleagues' achievements privately rather than publicly? So that is how you express inclusion impacting on your team effectiveness. Okay, now on my next slide, we will discuss wanted inclusion. It's impacting your team effectiveness or not, and at what level. Okay, this is my next slide, improving your team effectiveness. Now, how much wanted inclusion I need to address the different issues. So now wanted inclusion, you have 8 marks here. what you needed, you gain is 8 and fall into high range again. Okay, if it's fall into high range, now you need to ask yourself first over here, expecting other, show others, and allow others. So what is basically in all three instances? The first, am I frequently expecting other to seek my input? Number one. Number two here, are there way I can more directly show others that I want to be included in the project? Number three here, can I allow others to get as much intention as enjoy getting them? So that is how all three instances are related to wanted inclusion. It's impacting your team effectiveness. On my next slide, so we will discuss improving your team effectiveness as far as control is concerned. Okay, first here I'm going to discuss express control here. So what basically express control? It demonstrate here express control got 2 marks here. So you need to understand what you got it and where you fall into low range. If you are in low range, now you need to ask yourself first, avoiding the risk here, increase the reliability. Number 3, structure activities. Okay, first, am I avoiding the risk of taking on this a new task just because I am not familiar with it? Number 1 here. And what is number 2? Increasing the reliability. Can I increase the reliability and consistency of my work? Number 2 here. And number 3, what is structure activities? Can I structure activities so that a team members can set priorities? So that is how it is established with your team effectiveness. Okay, on my next slide, we're going to discuss wanted control mechanism. Okay, in control mechanism, if you can see wanted control, you got the 1 score and it's again fall into low range. Okay, now you need to ask again yourself what you can do. The first is expertise is necessary, showing resistance. Number 3, clarified all the instructions. Okay, first, so have I involved those who expertise in is necessary to make this project succeed? Number 1. Number 2, showing resistance here. Am I showing resistance as a way to express my need for independence, or because there are a real problem that haven't been solved yet? Okay. Number 3, clarified all the instructions. Have I clarified all the instructions I need to help me complete this task? So that is how wanted control mechanism impacting how to improve your team effectiveness. On my next slide, we are going to discuss team effectiveness and affections. Now we'll discuss affection. Okay, in my earlier slide, we have discussed express inclusion and wanted inclusion, how much we needed. And now we are going to discuss expressed affections and wanted affection, how much we needed as far as team effectiveness improvement is concerned. Over here, if you can see, expressed as per the simulation results got 8 scores and it's fall into high range here. If it's in high range, what is asking, what is demanding to you here? Okay, what is the first? Can I intrude first less? Then it demonstrate here, they intrude less and then prefer to know and then expressing my opinion. Okay, the first intrude less. Can I intrude less on others? Number 1. Number 2, would my colleague prefer to know less about my personal concern? Number 3 here, do I defer to others at a price of expressing my own opinions? Okay, that is express wanted is impacting your team effectiveness. Now on my next slide, we are going to discuss wanted affections here. Okay, in my earlier slide, we have discussed expressed inclusion, wanted inclusion, express control, wanted control. Now this is our last of wanted affections. So now you got 9 scores you need for the affections here and you fall into high range. So now ask yourself what learn to reassure, personal relationship, and dependent on feedback. Okay, now you got the marks here, the learn to reassure here. So how I can learn to reassure myself rather than relying on others for the sports. That's the first instance here. Personal relationship here. So do I expect a personal relationship with my subordinates? Number 3 here, depending on the feedback. Am I too dependent on feedback about my works? So that is how wanted affection impacting your team effectiveness. Okay, on my next slide, so based on expressed inclusion, wanted inclusion, expressed control, wanted control, express affection, wanted affections. There's complete detail how we can drive a leadership style. On my next slide, I'm going to demonstrate how the leader can demonstrate it and leader can prompt based on his wanted scores. Okay, as discussed earlier here, because your high expressed need represent the social arena where you feel are more comfortable taking action. These results predict which phase you show first to a group. This needs will also probably shape the foundation of your leadership style. As we have seen, expressed inclusions, wanted inclusion, how much got, expressed control, wanted controls, expressed affections, and wanted affection you got during the simulation results. So it also indicates so where your style can depend. So in the overall score you got 15 here, and overall the 3, and total need 17. Then it demonstrates you total need for the affections here and total need for both sides here. So now, so your high expressed need is for affection. This suggests that you will strive to be a leaders. So what you will focus then if you strive to be leaders? First is the express the extent to which you initiate the behavior, and second attempt wanted the extent to which you want or will accept the behavior from others. Okay, so then you will demonstrate your behavior. First a focused here. What is basically focused here? Focus on the developing human resources, number 1. Number 2, strives. What you will strive here? To increase and maintain employee satisfactions. Then encourage and support others. Then next is gain legitimacy here through personal commitment and loyalty. And then enjoy here. What is basically enjoy being liked and warmly regarded by followers. Okay, next here wants. What you wants basically wants to serve and nurture. And then a feedback here. So what would be the reassures and makes other comfortable, invite for the feedbacks. And last here honesty here. So then reverse honest communications. So that is how you will demonstrate your leadership style. So thank you very much for your precious time. This was my lecture number 5th and last lecture on organization behavior. Thank you very much for your precious time, and stay tuned. Now I'm going to deliver lectures on mentor and leaders. What is difference between mentor and leader? Please don't hesitate to send me your feedback and comments t.masood.dr@bath.edu. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay inspired, stay blessed. Thank you very much again.